Hey, what's up guys? Spencer Rhodes here. So, there are two characters that were introduced in Fear the Walking Dead Season 3. Their names are Walker, well, it's Taka, I think his name was Taka or something, but he was usually called Walker by most people, and Crazy Dog. So, Walker was the leader of this group of Indians that basically, they got cheated out of their property for I think years and years, maybe decades, generations. I forgot. I think it was at least decades. But they basically got cheated out of their property by Jeremiah Otto, and Jeremiah Otto hated him and hated the Indians because he was just this big racist. He had killed Walker's dad and I think he killed a couple other Indians from Walker's group, and basically had property that didn't really belong to him. And that's sort of what caused this whole sort of war between Walker's people and Jeremiah Otto's people at the ranch. And Walker had his people shoot down or attempt to shoot down helicopters, and this ended up causing the death of Travis Manawa. And Madison at first pretty much hated Walker, and I feel like she should have continued to hate him, but they ended up sort of becoming friends because she found out about all the stuff that Jeremiah Otto did, and she ended up blaming Jeremiah for what happened, even though technically Walker's the one that basically caused Travis's death. I mean, that is her husband. I don't know. I still don't feel like Madison should have forgiven him and not be friends with him, but they became friends and everything over the course of season 3. And I'm just like, okay, Madison, you're being friends with the guy that killed your husband. Cool, sure, why not? That was probably one of my biggest criticisms of season 3. I just didn't buy it. I just didn't buy Madison and Walker growing a bond, even despite the circumstances of what Jeremiah Otto did. I just didn't buy that. But basically, Madison killed Jeremiah Otto, and that basically started this peace between the Indians and the ranch people, and they combined. Walker and his people, they came to the ranch, they tried to live with them and coexist, but basically Jeremiah's son, Troy Otto, he led a herd of walkers, and it destroyed most of the ranch. It killed most of the people, most of Walker's people, most of the people at the ranch, except for, conveniently, most of the main characters. But Walker survived, and he ended up surviving the rest of season 3. And the second character is Crazy Dog. Now, Crazy Dog is like Walker's top lieutenant. He was Walker's right-hand man, and he survived the destruction of the ranch. He survived season 3. Walker and Crazy Dog, they both survived season 3. And at the end of season 3, they leave because all their people are dead. Walker and Crazy Dog were the last of their group that were still alive, and they just left. They were just like, "Fuck this! We need to go our own path." I think they were trying to find more of their people somewhere, and they were heading there to try to find them, but they left, and then they made a brief appearance in the finale of season 3 because Madison, Nick, and Alicia and Strand were about to get killed by Proctor John and Proctor John's people, and Walker and Crazy Dog started sniping at them, and I think it saved Madison, Nick, Strand, and Alicia, at least temporarily. But the dam exploded, and Madison, Nick, Strand, Alicia, they got swept up by the water, and Walker and Crazy Dog assumed that they were all dead, and they just left and walked off and continued on their journey. And that was it. That was the end of their story, at least for now. They have not been seen again since then. They were not in season 4 at all. So far, they have not been in season 5. There have been no reports confirming that either of the actors are going to return in season 5, or if they're ever going to return. Now, they were both pretty cool characters, especially Walker. A lot of people liked Walker. I thought Walker was cool, and a lot of people have been hoping that those two characters would return in some capacity, that maybe they would return in season 5, maybe they would return in season 6. Now, as far as how I feel, I'm kind of I'm kind of just sort of 50-50 on it. I'm not against them coming back, but if they never come back, I'm not really against that either. The reason that I'm not necessarily against them never returning is that I think it's realistic. We have this whole entire world, full of people surviving and fighting walkers and getting killed and surviving. And most of the time in Fear the Walking Dead, we see characters die. We see the characters' stories end. We see the end of them. We see the end of their lives. But in the real world, in real life, if that stuff was happening, there'd be a few people, more than likely, there'd be a few people that you would see. Maybe you would even coexist with them, survive with them. And then they would leave, and they would go somewhere else. Somewhere far, far, far away, and you would never see them again. You don't know if they're still alive. You don't know if they're dead. They would just disappear from your life. That's kind of how real life works. There's people that you see one time, and then you never see them again. You usually see people like that every day, depending on what you're doing or where you are. You see people, and then you never see them again, and that's it. You don't know what happened to them. I mean, it's not the zombie apocalypse, but so they're probably alive. You know what I mean? Like in a zombie apocalypse, realistically, there'd be a couple of people that would just leave and be gone, and you wouldn't know. You wouldn't get to know the answers. It's realistic. It's realistic to have a few characters like that. Now they've already done that with some characters. Tobias in season 1, he just left, and we didn't get to see what happened to him. He's just MIA. He's just possibly still out there, possibly still alive, possibly dead. Who knows? And whatever. There was the I think Asian woman in season 2. She disappeared. We didn't see what happened to her. And season 3, there was the God damn it, I'm gonna sound racist. I forgot her name. The African American woman with the pickaxe that was with Felicia. I think she was in 2 episodes, and then she got injured, and then Proctor John's people took her away, and that was it. We never saw her again. So there's already been a few characters that they just disappear, and we don't see what happens to them, and we don't get those answers. And I think that's realistic. So, if you bring back Walker and Crazy Dog, that's fine. Like I said, there's already other characters that have just left, and we don't know what happens to them. So it can still be realistic, I suppose, because there's already characters that have done that. So Walker and Crazy Dog could come back, but I mean, I thought they were both good characters, particularly Walker. I think Walker's actor gave a really good performance, and he was really interesting because it was like he started off as a villain, and then he became less and less of a villain over time because you learned more and more about his backstory and why he did certain things. And that made him kind of interesting. He was an interesting character. So I wouldn't mind seeing more of him. I wouldn't mind seeing more of Crazy Dog. But on the other hand, I could live without them. If they never come back, I'm okay with that. I mean, I feel like, they left. Like they had their story arcs. They had their character development. They developed in season 3. Walker and Crazy Dog changed over the course of season 3. Their characterization changed. They both grew as people. They both went through difficult things, losing Ophelia, losing their people, getting to know Madison, joining the ranch. They developed. They had a story arc, and that story arc was complete in and of itself during season 3. There's not this big thing where I'm like, oh, but this part of them never got developed. Oh, this part of their story never got completed. They need to come back. They need to come back. No, I felt like their story arc got completed. And the ending of their story, if the ending of their story is the ending of season 3, it's not terrible. They both leave. They go off on their own journey to try to find more people. That's a solid ending. I mean, you could have a movie where in an apocalypse where a guy does that and he leaves and you never see them again. That's the end of the movie. It's not necessarily a cliffhanger. It can be looked at that way, but it can also just work as an ending. It can just work as an ending. It can work as an ending to their stories, to their characters. So I support Walker and Crazy Dog coming back. If Walker and Crazy Dog come back at the end of season 5 as some crazy plot twist and it's some surprise, and the writers never tell us and the actors never tell us, and it just happens out of nowhere, that would be awesome. That would be the shit. But if they don't come back, I'm good with it. I'm okay with it. I'm not against the end of their story. I'm not against them being two characters that they don't die. They're just out there. You like Tobias? I'd say those are probably the three biggest ones at this point. Walker, Crazy Dog, and Tobias. They're not dead, but they're just out there, and they're in a completely different part of the world, and we just don't get to know. We just don't get to know. Their story arcs were over as far as the way that their lives intertwined with the lives of the main characters that we're really supposed to be following, like Alicia, and at the time, Madison, Nick, Travis, but they're all dead now. But Alicia, we have to stay with Alicia. Wherever Alicia is, we're most likely going to be following her in the location that she is in. And if Walker and Crazy Dog and Tobias, they go to a different location, and it's not the location that Alicia is in, it's not the location that the story follows, then yeah, we're probably not going to see them. We're probably not going to see them again. They could be somewhere completely different, in a different continent, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles away. It could make sense. It's a whole big world. It's a whole big planet, not full of not just zombies, but places to live, people struggling to survive, new groups of people, different leaders. It's the entire world is full of that stuff in these two shows. It has to be. It can't just be an entire planet where everyone's dead and everything's gone, and we just happen to be following the little groups of people that are still alive. No. There's plenty of other things out there, plenty of groups of people, and it makes sense that Crazy Dog and Walker had traveled and they had found a new group to live in, a new group to live with. And it's very far away, and we never see them again. That's realistic. It's a big planet, not just full of the undead, but for other things, like groups of people. So it makes sense if they don't come back. Realistically, it kind of makes sense. And I can live without them. I thought they were both good characters, but I can live without them. So if you're huge fans of the characters, I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm just saying I can live without them. But keep in mind, I'm not against them returning. I support them returning. If they do return, I'm going to be like, oh hell yeah, those two actors get to continue working in this franchise and playing these characters. I'm happy for them. I want to see where their characters go and what they've been up to since season 3. But I'm not necessarily offended if they were somewhere really, really far away and they found a new group of people. That's fine. One way to continue their characters is to do like their own spin-off or their own miniseries. I've talked about that with Tobias before. There's really no real reason to bring back Tobias because the only character that he had any connection with is Madison, and she's dead. So if you're going to follow Tobias, it should probably be like his own miniseries, his own spin-off, maybe even his own TV show. I don't know. But another thing is you can't just have all these coincidences happening. Daniel just happened to be this far away from where Strand was, and Strand was able to find him. Dwight just happened to be this far away from where Morgan's group was, and Morgan's group was able to find him. It's a whole planet. You can't always have those type of coincidences. So if you have Walker and Crazy Dog, they just happen to be a little bit far away from Morgan's group, and Morgan's group is able to find them. How many times can you have that type of coincidence happen before it becomes unrealistic? Maybe it's more realistic to keep Walker and Crazy Dog just gone. They're somewhere far, far, far away, and there's really no realistic reason for them to meet our characters in their location that they're in right now. So, but keep in mind, like I said, I'm not against them coming back. I'm not against them returning. I just don't know if they will or not. And as far as season 5 goes, I'd say not likely. There's other characters. For one thing, we've already got Dwight and Daniel, and there's a rumor that Troy Otto is coming back. So how many characters do you want to dramatically return after not being seen for a while in one season? We got Dwight dramatically returning. We have Daniel dramatically returning. So we might get Troy Otto. I don't know. He was rumored. Right now, all the official people are saying he's dead, but who knows? Maybe they're lying. Madison, we don't know. We don't. I mean, there's always a little chance that maybe they retcon Madison's death, because we didn't see her die technically, and the actress has said that she's open to returning. And Madison's death was such a controversial thing. They just might bring her back, and the ratings are getting lower. They might bring back Madison to get some of the audience back. Same with Troy Otto. They might bring back Troy Otto to get some of the audience back, because Madison and Troy Otto were both characters that they're dead now, that a lot of people were against, and a lot of people have come up with theories on how they could still be alive. So those characters could come back in season 5, season 6, season 7 to try to get some of the audience that left the show to come back and to try to make the ratings go up. But I mean, how many times can you do that? You know, Madison, Troy, Daniel, Dwight. How many times can you have these characters dramatically return? Maybe Walker and Crazy Dog just need to be left out of the story. That's just what I think. But I'm not against them returning. I'm really not against them returning. If they return, I'm happy for them. If they don't return, I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it. I think they did good in their one season, and they left, and they could just be gone and out there somewhere, and their story arcs are complete. And the way their lives intertwined with the lives of these other characters that we follow, that's complete. We don't need more of their lives intertwining with these other characters' lives. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 Walking Dead videos per day, so please hit that subscribe button. Right now we are at 552 subscribers. My goal is to try to get to 600 in the next few months. So just remember, every subscriber counts, every bit of support matters, and is very, very appreciated. Hopefully we can get to that goal of 600. We are just 48 subscribers away, just 48 people away from that 600 goal. If 48 more people subscribe, we'll be at 600. So that's not much. That's pretty good. Like, we're getting there. I'm really excited for that 600 goal. I think we'll get there soon. But yeah, anyway, with all that said, I am Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye.